everybody, thanks for joining us here today. This is Nicole with Topaz, and today we are here for our Quick Tip Thursday session on how to eliminate noise in your night photography. Even with a tripod and low ISO, shooting at night can produce some strong image noise, especially if you have a longer exposure. And even if you have a handheld image at night and taking your ISO really, really high, that will definitely produce a lot of noise as well. So if you're a night photographer who struggles with removing noise, then this is a great session for you to know about a couple of our tools within Topaz D Noise. This image is a handheld night image. It was fairly dark at this point, I believe around 8:30. Let me make a quick copy of my layer here and scroll in for you. We have extra high ISO noise because we're dealing with an ISO of 25,600. Within that file information, just to show you. It was also at f4.5 and 1/250th of a second. So I got some nice crisp focus with that quick shutter speed, but with that quick shutter speed and a high ISO, I produced a lot of image noise within this image. So I want to go ahead and take it into Topaz D Noise, do a very quick rundown of the DeNoise reduction process, and then really cover a couple of the key tools you should know about when working with night images. So let's jump into Filter, Topaz Labs, Topaz DeNoise 5. All right, I'm going to come over here to the right-hand side and press Reset back to the default values and make sure I'm at 100%. Then I'm going to go locate an area that has midtones, shadows, and highlights. And this is a great area right about here because I have the midtones in the silver, black shadows, and brighter highlights here in the stone wall behind it. First thing I'm going to do with this really heavy ISO, I'm just going to come down to my debanding tab and press horizontal and vertical to get rid of any banding noise that might be there. Then I'm just going to shut that down and be done with that tab. At this point, I really want to view and isolate the image noise separately. So I'm going to go into my Luma, which is just going to show me my contrast noise. It's going to eliminate that color value. And I'm going to go into a normal, actually I'm going to go all the way with strong. Well, actually, for the midtones, I'll start off with normal for my brightening up my preview. Whenever you're working with night images, this is one of the tools I want to tell you about. The auto brighten preview is going to be really important for you. Noise can really hide in shadows and in night skies and in dark blacks. That contrast noise can really hide in there and muddy everything up. So by changing your brighten preview, you can really start to make that noise stand out and allow you to see it so you can tackle it with DeNoise. I'm going to start off with the normal because I'm going to work on the mid-tone values first with this overall strength, and I'm just going to keep an eye on that mid-tone area and reduce some of that noise. Now it's going to reduce overall noise, but I'm going to have extra noise within my shadow areas. As you can see, once the metal part or the silver gets nice and smooth, we still have a lot of blotchiness going on within our blacks. So now I'm going to go into my strong auto brighten preview and work on my black area. The first thing I'm going to do before I work on my shadow noise is come down to this correct black level slider. This is something very important for night photographers to know about as well. First, I'm going to take it down to 0 when I adjust my shadows to start off with. And I'll tell you more about this slider here shortly, but we're going to jump up to the top of this noise reduction. After our overall strength, now we can focus in on our shadows, which are a little bit more bright for us, and I can work on my shadows specifically to take out more noise just in those blacks. And you can see it starting to eliminate that noise or reduce that noise. Then we have our adjust highlights. I'm going to go back down to normal so I can see some of the, or even off, so I can see some of the highlights specifically, and I'm just going to take that to the left and bring back some of that detail and texture that we've taken away by the noise reduction process so far. We got that texture back on our highlights. That's great. Perfect. All right, now we go to our red very quickly. I'm just going to eliminate or reduce the red channel noise. And I'm just looking for a nice flat area within those large areas of tone without detail. I'm just kind of trying to clean up the splotchiness of those areas. Going into my clean color view, I'm going to go to my strong, brighten preview so I really see those colors stand out, and I can see a lot of extra color noise still happening. Here's before, so we had a ton of color noise. We've reduced a lot of it, but you still see a lot of pattern going on. And so I'm going to take this clean color up and reduce that, smooth everything out. There we go. Now within this Auto Brighten Strong preview, you can tell that even in my black areas, because you know this is the black area of the image over here in the top left corner of my preview, you can see that there's still some magenta and large areas of tone, kind of hazy tone, and that is color haze that's left over from this noise reduction process. And this is something in night photography or in areas where you have these really dark tones, you might start to see in those shadows is that haze. This correct black level slider will solve this. So I'm going to go back to off, go back to my RGB, and you can start to see here, especially if I take this normal up a little, there we go, that we have a little bit of a color haze left over in our dark area. This correct black level will start to take those magentas and take them closer to black, which means it's going to add a little bit of green in there. You can push it too far, so be careful with that. And you can easily back off. And now I'm going to turn my Auto Brighten Preview off to see my original RGB and see if it looks like I've reduce that color haze, and it definitely does. I still see some red, larger areas of tone here, so I'm just going to take my Adjust Color Red a little bit farther up to reduce that, and I'm happy. I'm coming back over here to this this focused area to work on my detail recovery now. Within my detail recovery, I'm just going to take my recover detail up to about 0.3 or 0.4, start recovering some of those lines that we lost, and then I'm going to leave the reduce blur alone in this one and take the add grain up to about 0.4. Here's before, here's after. I was able to reduce this large amount of noise in this night image using a fairly simple process of manually coming over here and just working through the different preview modes, paying more attention to my adjust shadow sliders, my correct black level, and making sure that I use my auto brighten preview when I'm viewing the noise to really be able to tackle it in those shadows. I hope this gave you a good introduction or a good tip on how to work with noise in your night images, and I hope to see you at an upcoming webinar. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.